Hello viewers, now this was a game changer for me when I stumbled across it for my Renko charts. Now I've since built it into my own software and systems, but you can also find it in platforms such as TradingView, which is the example I'm going to show you here today. But like I said, it was a game changer for a number of reasons. You like breakouts, you can't time your way in. This process really is such a great hack. It's so simple. I'm going to show you how it works on a few different indicators, and then we're going to piece it together into a very simple strategy so you can see quite clearly how effective it can be. It works across all markets. You've got to do a bit of work yourself behind the scenes to get the right block sizes set up, but if you can do that, like I said, it's highly effective and worth you taking the time to find out about it. Now you might have seen it in a few of my other Renko videos, but this one we're going to really focus in on it. So let's get started. Now I'm going to be using the NASDAQ 100 as the example here. It's going to be a 50 block size. Doesn't mean it's the right block size. This is for illustrative purposes only. It works, this hack, across all markets, but you've got to do your own back testing, do your own analysis to see how it works and fits into your trading strategy and approach. So like I said, for this video though, I'm sticking with the NASDAQ 100 50 block size. And like I said, we'll work our way through the different hacks and then put it together into some sort of basic strategy idea, just to illustrate to you, its effectiveness. So what is this hack that I've been going on about? Well, I call it the offset Renko hack, and it is what it sort of says on the tin. It's simply taking indicators and offsetting them by a given set of parameters to create a breakout or timing situation to get you into either a long or short trade. You can also use it for trade management to get yourself out of the trade as well. I particularly focus on two indicators, Bollinger bands and Donchian channels, which I'm going to show you in this video. There are other indicators. Look for the offset function. If you've got something like TradingView, trawl for all the thousands of modified indicators and stuff available for you on there. Like I said in the intro, I've turned this into my own software in my own Renko chart, so it's easy for me to play around with it. But a lot of you I know do have TradingView, so we're going to show it here. So let's just simply start with the Bollinger band. So we go up to our indicators. We find Bollinger bands. I've got them here as my favorites. Click on there. As you can see, we then get the standard default Bollinger bands. Now to me, it's not clear really what to do, as quickly as I'd like. There are Bollinger Band experts out there who could use this very effectively, but I like to, like I say, make it more transparent. So what do I actually do? Well, if you right click on the settings there, you can see there's the standard inputs, but have a look at that box at the bottom, offset. Now a lot of people forget about this box when they see it on the indicators, but I've used it and we will see very quickly. I'm just going to change the colors. We don't need the basis line, so I'm going to turn that one off. Let's keep the upper and the lower the same colors. Let's got that red there, red there. So we got our bands. We go to the inputs. Now let's say we want maybe a quicker bit of action on the NASDAQ here. We might change the length to 10. We might want to narrow those bands to say just one standard deviation, but this is where it gets exciting for me. As you can still see on the chart that really we haven't got clear-cut buys and sells at the moment. You might think you have, but wait until you use this offset button. Now let's, for example, say we want a 5 offset. So we click on that, and voila, we now have the hack in progress. So let's just click on there, okay that. Let's do some drawing on the charts just to show you what I mean. Now where it was stuck within the bands, we've got these lovely sort of breakout zones all the time, or even going back into the price where you could maybe use as a sort of trailing stop loss. Like I said, you know, you're dotted in and out with opportunities now within, you know, just this chart alone. Remember the inputs. Let's go back to those inputs that I've used on there. You know, I've used these ones in the past, but you might, for example, want to make the standard deviation even tighter, or maybe the length even shorter. Again, back test. Always back test your stuff. Find out the results. Don't just take my word for it. Do it yourself. You know, you tighten it, you might have too much of a bigger, say on this example here, let's just remove the drawings. And this example here, if you were using that as a trailing stop loss, look how many bricks you get to before it like comes back into the band. So maybe use multiple band offsets as an idea. You know, create a systematic set of rules before you jump into this sort of way of you know, creating the hack that I am talking about. And again, you know, you might want to be a bit more conservative. Why not, you know, go bigger on the numbers? You know, try around, play around with those numbers. Maybe, you know, you want to stick with the original numbers. Maybe let's just have a play 20 and 10 to see what happens, and maybe get some more long-term type breakout situations happening, as you can see here, because they're outliers. Remember, Bollinger Bands are all about standard deviation away from this mean moving average input, and you know, we're not now getting into the outlier state, and we'd expect them eventually to come back in. But while they're out, this hack of, you know, shifting, offsetting the variables creates great entry and exit points. So that's Bollinger Bands. Let's quickly move on to one of my other favorites, which is the Donchian channel. So it's back to the indicators up the top. I've got it saved under my favorites. If you type in Donchian channels with offset or price channel, it's by someone called Russ43. We click on that, it adds it to our chart. You can't see that at the moment because of the settings. They are in black. Let's quickly change those to white. Now this is in Russian, it looks like, so don't worry too much about it. In terms of Russian, we don't really need to know that. Obviously you've got upper and lower bands and the central band. We take off the central band, which is the bottom one of the three, but importantly this is what we're interested in. Now that there with the 0 is the offset. So let's put in, say, 3 and 3 and see what happens to the Donchian offset. So maybe it's not as transparent as the Bollinger Band, but if I zoom in, for example, let's start drawing on there. There we go. Look, we've got this breakout going here. It's moved outside of that band. It's moved outside of that band channel. Again, you can use it as a trailing stop loss, and as it comes back in, maybe close out the trade, create a set of rules around it. But it's a very useful indicator, adjustment, a hack to, like I said, give you really nice entry points and rebuy-ins to, say, a trend that you might think you have missed out upon. Let's just change the variables again. Let's, for example, make it a bit longer term. I don't know whether this look good on the chart or not. Again, the caveat is do your own testing, but you can see how it does break outside of those bands to give you possible, you know, entry points and, like I said, exit possibilities when price reverses. So that really is, you know, it's as simple as that for the Donchian band setup. Play around with the settings, like I said, in there. The 10 that we got in here, that's the length of the band, so it's going to look back 10 blocks. The bottom line there is the offset. You know, play around with it, see what you get. You know, 10.5 looks stronger, say, for the Nasdaq and capturing the longer term trends. Great for keeping you in the trade longer as well. So we've looked at Bollinger Bands, we've looked at the Donchian channels. Yeah, maybe try things like envelopes or Keltner bands, you know, those type of other indicators. See whether you can do the same sort of thing. You know, I've played around with Darvas as well as another tool that you can, you know, fiddle around with and create nice offsets and trend following stuff as well. So let's have a quick look at how we could make it more effective in a strategy, you know, setup. Right, so for the record, this strategy setup is pure example. I do use components of it in my own trading, but this is again to give you ideas to go away with and use in your own trading. Now, what have I done here? We've stuck with the Nasdaq with 50 block size. You can see it covers a reasonable period of time, a couple of months there. And what have we got? Well, we've got our band hack here. This is the Bollinger Band, which I've just set to 10, 1 and 5. I've added a moving average, a 50 period or block moving average, to give us some sort of trend filter as well. And then at the bottom, I've got a stochastic indicator, which I've slightly modified. Settings that I like to use, 5, 3, 20. Gives you a bit more, I suppose, conservative entry and exit points, but keeps you in the trend longer. Now, if we go up to the chart, let's pick on this example here. We can see that we've got the price now moving out of the band and above the moving average, so both positive there. We haven't got, well, we are currently in a buy setup in the stochastics here, but we haven't got anything there yet. You could be more conservative, wait for the pullback, and you would buy, say, maybe back in here. And you could use the Bollinger Bands to get out as a possible, you know, trailing type stop loss approach. You could also use the stochastic at the bottom. There you could maybe get out, maybe buy in, or you could even maybe stay in that longer term trade with the first trade here and then add to it as we see this little pullback and we get another buy signal there and get out there. So we're doubling our size, you know, scaling up as the trend gets stronger. Or if you want to be more aggressive, you know, go in, you know, maybe you take away the trend filter here. I do suggest you have something on there, but maybe you've come in when the price breaks above the band anyway as your entry point, and then, like I say, you add as you go along. Maybe you don't want the stochastic as the tool. Let's remove the drawings, and maybe you just want to use a bit more of the price action. Like I said, let's think about using a trend filter. Let's find a moving average. Let's change the settings there. Maybe something much more longer term. Let's go 200. Let's make it a bit more obvious. So here, you know, the price, as we can clearly see, is all above the 200 moving average. So we're only looking for long trades only in there. And we wait for the breakout of the band and we close when it comes back in. We ignore these short reversals, as we see there. You're not going to pick up as many points in every trade, but it's going to be a lot safer. Like I say, you use that moving average, and again we've got the breakout there. You know, we've defined that the market's strong trending. You might have had some fundamental sentiment analysis in there as well to give you a leaning towards the strength of the trend. Again, we ignore this one here, is not so great, but you probably get out of break even. You know, pops out, breaks in. You know, if you've got the rules of moving back into the band as your exit, and again we ignore that because it's above the moving average. So there you go, very simply and quickly put together, with a whole load of strategy ideas there for you. But you can clearly see how using, in this example, the Bollinger Band hack, moving that offset, and it'd be similar, very similar if you use the Donchian on there as well, with the variables that suit your strategy. Like I say, you can clearly see how it creates entry and exit points and trade management rules, discipline, and getting in and out, combined with the clarity of the Renko charts. A very powerful hack. So there you go, a fabulous hack I use in my Renko trading, the offset Renko rule. Very powerful indeed. Give it a try, play with it, find the variables that suit you, build it into a consistent, systematic process, and it'll reap great rewards for your Renko chart trading. Now, if you liked today's video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit those other buttons for further notification of content I will be producing. Also, playlist. If you've liked the Renko charts, want to learn more, dig deeper into them, got a playlist coming up at the end of this video. It's basically an online course for Renko trading. All I know is chucked into there for you to become masters of the Renko chart. Start your way at the top, work your way through to the end, and like I said, hopefully you'll come out the other side a top user of the Renko chart in your trading. Now, that playlist, that's coming up now.